Hi y'all, I'm just at the start of our journey from San Francisco to wherever we end up. It's very much going to be a very loose travel itinerary.
And the trip was full of surprise appearances, whether marine life or a herd of cows and zebras.
So this is Pigeon Point Lighthouse. It was first lit in 1872. It's right on the California Coastal Trail, which goes from Mexico all the way to Canada. I'm here at the Boardwalk at Santa Cruz, and there's barely anybody here, but some of the rides are operating. I'm just sitting on a bench right now that looks like a surfboard. It's very apropos. And yeah, it's just very colorful here. All of the buildings have that kind of candy-colored theme.
You might recognize the Santa Cruz Boardwalk from Us, the horror movie written and directed by Jordan Peele. For the short time I spent on the boardwalk, there were some people here and there, but mostly I got the sense that it would come more to life at night.
I'm here at a place called Sand City, and behind me you'll see that there is a dumping ground for old sand and rocks. And it just happens to be right by the coastline, which is really odd to me. I find it odd that they would have that kind of a facility so close to the ocean.
And as it turns out, Sand City was in fact a heavy industrial center, including for sand mining. But in recent years, there's been a push to preserve and rehabilitate the natural beauty of the coastline.
Here I am at the lone Cypress on the 17-mile drive near Monterey. The 17-mile drive is where you can see some really phenomenal landscapes. It is also where a lot of wealthier individuals choose to build enormous homes. This coastline is amazing, and so it's definitely worth driving in and stopping at some of the vistas and taking in what are some very breathtaking views.
After 130 miles on the road, we arrive at Bixby Bridge. Bixby Bridge is a common lookout point on the Pacific Coast Highway. The weather didn't cooperate on this trip, but hello realism. This area gets foggy sometimes.
We're just south of Bixby Bridge. The fog, although it makes it a little bit less transparent, so to speak, it does give it a certain vibe that is very mystic and ethereal. Here I am at Pfeiffer Beach, which is right behind me, and you can see there are a lot of cool rock formations. It's an interesting ride to get down here. You kind of go down a narrow little road, and it was funny. It was one of those circumstances where we were coming down by ourselves, and then suddenly, for whatever reason, there were a whole pack of cars behind us. I don't know how that happens, but it seems to be a really popular little spot for those who know about it. The parking lot was completely full. We actually had to wait in line to get a parking spot. Really, if you're looking for a nice little hidden gem along Route 1, this could be it. And there's also this interesting hue of sand. It's not just your traditional, more beigey color. There's actually a kind of a reddish hint to the sand here. It's funny, when we started driving down, the sun was out. It was kind of a warm day. And then once you hit anywhere close to the coast, the fog just picks up. And You know, obviously it's the heat just meeting the cold water and bringing up all of that precipitation. So it's interesting. It's barely visible here right now, but it is still beautiful and just a calm, nice day.
And the sun eventually did make an appearance.
We just made a quick stop on our way down south, and there's this little trail, very, very short, where you can see a waterfall.
We don't get this sun, let's enjoy this. You get it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then you can like, wow, the sun finally come out. Let's go look for some spots.
Wow, it's like night and day. We just passed through like a tremendous amount of fog, and this is literally the edge where the sun is now out and it is gorgeous, and the blue of the ocean is really stunning. The sun is out, it is warm. I'm able to take off my jacket, which is so nice. These heathery things that have been dotting the landscape throughout this drive, the sun really brings out a certain rosiness to them. Well, I'm feeling so peaceful right now. This is what you think of when you think of Route 1 going down the Pacific coast. I love it when Mother Nature cooperates. So awesome to be out here and just driving along the coast and seeing so much of this natural beauty up close. We've passed that brief period of sunshine and we are now back in the fog quite a bit. If you look in that direction, you still see where there's that little intersection of sun where there's that break in the clouds, and that continues to be this brilliant, brilliant blue. And behind me, you see that we've gone back into foggy land. So that is just the nature of how things go when you are on a journey, that you find your moments of bliss. In some ways, it's representative of how life works. You have your peaks and you have your valleys, and typically the peaks are a little bit briefer. So we're now at the Jade Festival. This is a festival I did not know was happening, but we're going to go anyway. And yeah, I think jade is some kind of gemstone that is green, and I imagine it's arts and crafts. We're going to see, we're going to find out.
It didn't take long to find out. There was jade everything, from jewelry to sculptures. We admired all the different jade creations, and finished up with a piece of pumpkin pie to support the local school.
We're at our hotel in Ragged Point.
Our hotel was the Ragged Point Inn and Resort. We splurged a little to stay along Route 1, but it is kind of epic to wake up to these kinds of vistas. There's also a trail to the beach that, of course, we had to do the next day before continuing on our way.
This is a nice little trail that is right next to our hotel. It goes right down to the coast. There's a little black sand beach at the bottom. Should be cool to explore. That's where I'm going to take you right now. There you can see the black sand beach in the distance. We've made it to the bottom. Behind me is a colony of elephant seals. These ones are mostly young or female. The larger male elephant seals are out at sea.
At least most of the males, anyway.
been really fun to just stand here and watch the different antics and behavior that they have here on land. And also a little bit in the water. So thanks to this eccentric rich person who built a castle here, we now have actually zebras that graze along with cows here.
Hearst Castle is worth a visit at least once, but we didn't actually stop this time around. We decided to keep moving on to Morro Bay to get there earlier in the day. It was just another 40-minute drive.
So we're at Morro Bay right now, which was an old industry town. And right behind me is Morro Rock, which is currently an ecological reserve. And they just have a little pathway that people can walk around. This seems to be a really big place for fishermen.
Where there are fishermen, there are fish. And given Morro Bay's historic fishing industry, it's no wonder that other mammals are attracted to the area as well. Just standing from land, we came across a pod of dolphins, a couple of whales, and, not to forget, these two little sea otters. After strolling around the beach at sunset, we headed back to our hotel. The next day, we would need to make our way inland to get back to San Francisco in time for the grind. It was nice, though, to have this little intermission. Travel, near and far, has a way of helping you realize how big the world really is and how little many of our everyday stressors matter in real terms. If ever in doubt, take a road trip. Speaking of which, here's another adventure you might enjoy. If you're new to our little channel, welcome. This is Far Off the Marble, where we're all about exploration. If you liked what you saw here or see potential, give us a like or subscribe to encourage us to keep going.